In a busy city, there lived a young woman named Nadia. She was 23 years old, full of fire, and gifted in ways most people only dream about. She could look at a broken machine and understand it. She could hear a piece of music once and replay it in her mind note for note. Her professors called her exceptional. Her family called her their brightest hope. But Nadia had a secret she carried like a stone in her chest. She never finished anything. Not her engineering project, not the business she started with her cousin, not the online course she enrolled in 3 times, not even the small journal she bought to write her goals in. Every single one of those things began with excitement and ended in silence. She always told herself the same thing: I'll get back to it when I feel more ready. But ready never came. The tragedy was not that Nadia lacked talent. It was that she had so much of it and used it in short, brilliant bursts that produced nothing lasting. She was like a firework, bright for a second, then smoke. The turning point came on a Tuesday morning in March. Nadia had applied for a highly competitive engineering fellowship. It was the kind of opportunity that changed careers. She had made it all the way to the final round, one of 12 candidates chosen from thousands. All she had to do was submit a working prototype of a product she had been building for 6 months. She submitted nothing. Not because she lacked the skill. She had built 60% of it. But somewhere in the middle, the excitement had faded. Something new caught her attention, then something newer after that. And the deadline arrived while she was busy beginning yet another thing she would not finish. That evening, she sat on the floor of her apartment surrounded by half-built projects, open tabs, and abandoned notebooks. She did not cry. She just stared. And in that silence, for the first time, she asked herself the real question: what is actually wrong with me? A few weeks later, a friend mentioned an old sculptor named Mr. Osei. He lived on the edge of the city and was known not for being the most talented artist in the region, but for being the most disciplined. People said he had completed over 400 sculptures in his lifetime. Not sketches, not ideas, finished works. Every single one. Nadia found his studio and knocked on the door. He was a quiet man with steady hands and kind eyes. When she explained her problem, he listened without interrupting. Then he stood up and said, "Come, I want to show you something." He led her into his workshop. Against the far wall stood a large block of gray stone, rough, unshapen, completely ordinary. "I have been working on this piece for 11 months, Mr. Osei said. Nadia looked at it. She saw almost nothing. A vague outline of a shoulder, the hint of a head, barely anything after nearly a year. 11 months and it looks like this, she said, trying not to sound disrespectful. Mr. Osei smiled. "Sit down. Watch." He picked up a small chisel and a mallet, and then he did something Nadia did not expect. He made one strike, studied the stone, made another, paused, made a third. He was not rushing, he was not trying to impress her. He was simply present, completely, entirely present with that one stone, that one chisel, that one moment. After about 10 minutes, he set the tool down and turned to her. "You came here thinking your problem is that you don't finish things, but that is not the real problem. The real problem is that you have never learned to be with the boring middle." Nadia blinked. The boring middle? "Everything has 3 parts," he said. "The exciting beginning, when everything feels possible, the thrilling end, when you can see the result, and the long, quiet, unglamorous middle, where the real work lives. Most people," he continued, "live only for the beginning and the end. They start because beginnings feel like hope. They dream of the end because endings feel like glory, but they abandon the middle because the middle feels like nothing." He picked up the chisel again. "But the middle is everything. The middle is where you become someone. It is where discipline is not a strategy. It is a practice of being, of showing up for something even when it no longer excites you, even when you cannot yet see the result, even when 100 other things are calling your name." Nadia was quiet for a long time. "How do I learn that?" she finally asked. Mr. Osei set down his tools and looked her directly. "I will tell you what I tell every young person who comes to this studio with the same wound. 3 things, only 3. First, choose one stone. Right now, you're trying to sculpt 20 different blocks at once. Your hands are on all of them. That means your weight, your real weight, is on none of them. Pick the one thing that matters most to you, not the one that is easiest, the one that is truest, and put everything there. Second, fall in love with slow progress. You're addicted to the feeling of beginning. That feeling is real, but it is shallow. The deeper feeling, the one that actually builds a life, is the quiet satisfaction of returning to something difficult and making it 1% better than it was yesterday. That feeling does not announce itself loudly. You have to hear it. And third, protect the middle like it is sacred. When your mind starts to wander to new ideas, new projects, new excitement, and it will, you must treat that moment not as inspiration, but as interference. Say to yourself, not now. I'm in the middle of something, and the middle is where I choose to be. Nadia left that studio without fanfare. No dramatic music, no sudden transformation, just a quiet shift in how she understood herself. She went home and opened the engineering project she had abandoned, the one that cost her the fellowship. She did not feel excited. She felt afraid, but she sat down anyway. She worked for 2 hours. Nothing spectacular happened. She made progress that nobody would notice. She closed the laptop and went to sleep. The next morning, she returned to it, and the morning after that. Weeks passed, then months. There were days it felt like dragging herself through concrete, days when 15 new ideas screamed for her attention, and she had to close her eyes and whisper, "Not now. I'm in the middle of something." But she stayed. 8 months later, Nadia submitted a working product to a different fellowship program. It wasn't perfect, but it was complete. And complete, she had learned, was the most powerful thing a person could create. She did not win that fellowship either, but the panel wrote her a letter. They said her prototype showed unusual depth, real thinking, the kind of work that only comes from sustained attention over a long period of time. They invited her to apply to their advanced engineering residency the following year. She applied. She got it. And standing in that residency on her first day, surrounded by the most disciplined builders she had ever met, Nadia finally understood what Mr. Osei had been teaching her with every slow, deliberate strike of that chisel. Talent is common, beginnings are easy, ideas are everywhere, but the person who can stay, who can be with the hard, quiet, unglamorous middle and not flinch, that person becomes rare, and rare people build things that last. She thought of something Mr. Osei had said during one of her later visits to his studio, when the sculpture had finally begun to take shape, a woman rising from stone, arms reaching upward. "People ask me how long it takes to finish a sculpture," he had said, running his hand across the emerging form. "I always tell them the same thing. It takes exactly as long as you are willing to stay." From that day on, Nadia held one principle above all others. The middle is not where dreams go to die, it is where they become real. If this story reached something in you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And remember, whatever you have left unfinished, it is not too late to go back. The middle is still waiting for you. Be patient, be steady, and stay.